Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's up,
Happy Saturday
y'all?
to you.
Happy
Yeah,
Saturday,
come on, come on.
everybody. We are
We're back.
back.
Welcome back to the Act Right Out Loud podcast.
Podcast.
Once again, I'm your host, Jermaine.
What's up, y'all? I'm Tanya. We are back for another great episode, and we are excited. Well, I
Excited.
am excited to be
Yes.
here with you this Saturday. Are you?
Absolutely, absolutely. You guys have just entered into Act Right for the Holidays.
Act right for the
Holidays.
holidays.
Hopefully by now you guys had the chance to check out the intro video from last week, just to kind of get a
We just
feel.
kind of told you what we're gonna be talking
just
about.
a little bit.
You know.
And today we're gonna dive
diving
into
into it.
I want to know if you're going to tell the story of the first time you took me home with all that.
I'm not, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna come out of your mouth.
No, I think I'm gonna let you tell it.
I'm not telling that story. So anyway, what are we talking about today? Because Act Right for the Holidays is the name of our series, if you will.
Okay, preacher. Okay.
But we do have some topics that go along with you acting right for the holidays.
Yes.
And so today we're gonna talk about
home for the holidays.
Is that a movie?
No, it probably is. I know it's a song that I'll be home for Christmas. I'll be home for Christmas.
I know the song.
Oh, okay. Well, you was looking like you didn't know.
I always felt like that was the name of a movie. I'm gonna Google that later.
I was just gonna say it probably is. I think it is.
It's probably a Lifetime movie, huh?
Probably so.
Yeah. But anyway, we are talking about Home for the Holidays.
Home for the holidays.
We are directing this conversation to singles
and married people. People in
seriously dating,
engaged, married,
and married folk.
Yeah.
So this conversation is gonna be good for all of you.
Everybody.
So no excuses. Tune in because we are about to talk about Home for the Holidays and give you some great tips on how to handle going home for the holidays in your current relationship status.
Right. So, where do you want to start at? Just from.
So I think we can go in like the order of the statuses, like single, going home for the holidays as a single person, and then kind of graduate to the married folk. What you think?
I'm cool with that.
Okay, let's go for it.
Okay. Well, I think I'll start.
Okay.
I think I'll start.
Yeah.
Whenever we are doing any kind of conversations that's dealing with just relationships in general, and we talk about it a little bit in the first book, Journey, in terms of just me just coming in once me and Tanya both once we met. Of course, I was single. I had never been married before. Of course, I've been in a relationship, but I had never been married before. Now the difference is Tanya had been married before. So there was, I would not say there was a clashing, but at that time it was just kind of different ideologies in terms of just how the holidays were celebrated.
Yeah, there were different routines.
Right.
Like you did your holidays different. From how, and plus I had kids, so
that part too.
That made a difference in how we did holidays.
Right. So for me, when holidays came, I already knew where I was going. I'm going to mom and dad's house.
That's what you would normally do.
Right.
That was a tradition of your holidays.
I did not have I didn't have to think about things like making sure there was what we're gonna eat and where we're going. I'll be inviting everybody over because I was normally in that number of the everybody going. But I can safely say, and a lot of people may not have this testimony, because a lot of single people that are going home for the holidays. Some of them right now, like I really don't feel like putting up with my family because I don't want to hear no questions. When you get married, when you having kids, and what happened to such and such, when y'all together, and all these different questions. And but I never really experienced that.
Yeah.
I never really. I heard a number of stories.
So when you would go home as a single person, when you would go home, because you always had Thanksgiving and Christmas at your mom and dad's house.
Yeah.
So when you would go home to your mom and dad's house, they never made you feel like you should be further along than what you are.
No, they didn't.
or your, their ideas of where you should be. They never push those onto you.
No, they didn't.
Cause I mean, that right there that's great. Shout out to Mama Shirley and Daddy Atkins, because that's not the case with a lot of single people, because sometimes single people get talked about, scrutinized for being single.
But
period.
That's true. But I just thought about this. Do you think it's worser?
Worser? Worse?
Do you think it's more worse? I just made that a worser.
Yeah.
Do you think it's more worse for females than it is males? Just on that subject.
Yeah, because I think that a lot of times, like if there's a mother that was married since she was 16, and her daughter is, 30, knocking at 40 and not married with kids, it may be difficult to have conversations with your mom, because her expectation is for you to be married with kids by now.
Right.
Because that's how her life went, not realizing that her walk of life is not going to be the same as yours.
Right.
So I do think that sometimes on the women, it could be harder.
Yeah, and the reason why I thought about that, because I was thinking about myself, and then I was just I in terms of when I was single, but then I'm still thinking, I'm like, I don't think, and I may be wrong. I don't think males, sons, just come straight into the house. And the auntie or great auntie, when you gonna get married and when you gonna, and I'm pretty sure I know there's some conversations.
I'm pretty sure they have
grandbabies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't see it as being as difficult for males, for us, as it is for women.
Well, yeah, because as we get older, the harder it becomes for us to bear children, and the harder it becomes for our bodies to handle it. So I'm pretty sure that conversation is being had in the single person's mind already. So they don't want to go home to a time of celebration and family to hear about what they've been struggling with anyway.
That's true. But I think a lot of that comes from how a lot of families, and I don't even think that they know that they're doing this. They're trying to dictate that single person's timeline in terms of when they should be married, or when you should be bringing somebody around now, but then, and this is what's funny to me, there's a whole year,
365.
It's a whole year, and you asking me this question. You don't
today.
Today, out of all the days,
right?
You don't know what I've been struggling with from a relationship standpoint.
Well, sometimes the family members that you see during the holidays, you don't see throughout the year.
That is true.
Because the holidays are a time for vacation.
Yeah,
they are a time for you to go see people that you don't get to see throughout the year.
Right.
So that could be why they pile on those questions at that time. But if you're so concerned about my lifestyle and what's going on with me, don't wait till the holidays.
Well, that's true, but and here goes again. It's everybody does not live their life out on social media.
True.
So
very true.
So just because you don't necessarily see
it doesn't mean that it's not happening.
Right.
Or it does not mean that I'm not grooming myself for what's next.
Right.
So don't make your assumptions based on what you see on social media. I mean, that's just true all around, period. But also, if you have a concern about me, then don't wait until the holidays to try to embarrass me in front of everybody else.
Right.
If you want to have a conversation, I will allow you to try to have that conversation, but just be prepared of the answer you're going to get to your question.
Right. And be prepared for the answers that you're going to get, for these questions. Then also be prepared for them to leave earlier than expected.
Or not to come at all.
I'm not to come at all. Why you didn't come? Because I didn't feel like
dealing with.
Right.
So I have this thing when I was a kid. Little, I was very chubby, which I do believe that kind of plays a little bit on my self-esteem when I do gain weight.
Mm-hmm.
So my great grandmother used to always call me fat, and to go every time I would go around her, it would always be a depiction of my weight.
Right, because it's
always
they ain't holding back.
You over there eating a lot, ain't you? They say little sly things. So I had got to a point to where I didn't want to be around her, and I don't know why. I just decided to just start, instead of me addressing it with her, I just kind of let it roll off. But it also stopped me from going around her as much. And I kind of hate that happened, but I would still go around her because I love her. I love my great granny.
Right, of course.
But that is one of the reasons why a lot of people don't go home to see their families, because they don't feel appreciated, respected. They don't feel comfortable. There are a lot of reasons why people, and not just single men, I'm talking about individuals, don't go home to see their family members because of how that family gathering makes them feel.
Right.
If I'm always the topic of the family gathering because y'all feel like my life is so interesting that y'all just want to write a soap opera about it.
That's true. That's
I'm not coming around that. I'm not coming to your house when, number one, your daughter don't like me, and number two, you and I don't even have anything in common. The only thing we know about each other is we're related.
Yeah.
So going home for the holidays as a single person, as engaged, it don't matter what your status is. It can be difficult based on the type of relationship that you have for your family.
That's right.
Have with your family.
Yeah. And I think that and I'll take it a step, well, I am going to take a step further in just a second, but a lot of times families are so used to doing certain things, they will continue to do it until you say something.
Yeah, how it bothers you.
So don't sit back and tolerate it. Just be like, hey, I don't like when y'all do me like that. If I'm gonna be dating somebody, just know I'm gonna pop up. When I pop up, I'm gonna pop out.
Well, and you may not even know.
Right. Right. Because ultimately, that I know y'all love me, but ultimately that's my business.
But how do you know they love you? Just because they're your family, you make the assumption that they love you. Like, how can I say you love me if when I come around you, you make me feel horrible? You make me feel like my life is in shambles when I know for a fact that I'm working on, my issues, and I'm trying to make myself better. But every time I come home, that doesn't seem good enough because your expectations go beyond what I want in my life.
Well, I mean, if anybody out there feels that way, then that's when you have to give them the gift of your absence. Because absence makes makes the
sometimes absence is the resolution.
Yeah, and then when it comes time to when someone asks that question, why you don't come around anymore, then that's not the time for you to be modest. That's the time for you to be honest and say, okay, I love y'all, and I miss being around y'all, but here's why.
Yeah, lay it out.
Here is why. Because a lot of times I think people don't even know that you feel that way. They don't know. All they know is you start coming around.
Yeah.
And so when you tell them, after you tell them and they don't make the adjustments, then yeah, oh, ain't no love there. We just family.
Well, yeah, because people make the assumption that I'm in a relationship with my family members because they're my family members. That is a relationship. But in all honesty, that's where it ends.
Right.
You're my family member.
Right.
But we don't have a relationship with each other.
We are related, but we are related, which in a sense means that we should be in a relationship.
I mean,
We
the
should
expectation
be.
is
Right.
to be in relationship, but
we're related. And I think that's the reason why.
that's why relationship.
Right. But I think that's the reason why there are some people that you are quote unquote not related with, but they are close friends and they are closer to you than the people that you are related to. So, I mean,
I just want to encourage the single people. Like, if you are single by choice, then embrace that.
Embrace it, own it, and then
own it,
and let them know,
and communicate with your family members what you will and will not tolerate. Because just because it's your parents, as an adult, we have a right to tell our parents how we want to be treated. Because now I'm an adult, and I've lived life and I've experienced life, and I've taken what you've taught me as a child and made it what I'm supposed to make it in my life. So if I come home to see mom and dad every holiday, and mama always talking about why you ain't got no baby and why you ain't married, I need to let mom and dad know that, hey, that's not where I'm at right now. And in order for you to support me in the way that I want you to support me, because it matters how I want you to support me, not how you choose to support me, then you need to listen to me, and I need to communicate this to you.
This is very true.
Because we need to have some understanding.
Right. And what's great,
or else you ain't gonna see me for the holidays.
What's interesting, I just think about my own family, and I have quite a few single cousins, and they are successful in their own way and just as single as they want to be.
Yeah.
But whenever we would all gather together, and I don't know if this is a blessing, and I may just be I may not just been around during that time. It just never was that conversation. Why you got, you're so successful in business, and all you need now is a husband. All you need now is a wife. But now I will say this. Now, I don't know if they took out the time to take whoever was around the corner and tell them, like, listen, you don't got one more time to keep asking me about this. This is what it is. They probably did. It is what you think about. So, but let me turn the corner on you for just for a second. So, there's always this conversation of that even though two people are dating, where you're still single until you get married. What's your take on what's your take on single people who are in relationship, they're not married, anything like that, not even engaged, but they start acting as if they're married or engaged based on, well, we're gonna do the holidays of such and such, or we just making these kinds of decisions with no, I guess, commitment, knowing that this is going towards somewhere, because people are.
Well, how are you seriously dating with no commitment or no direction?
That's true.
Yeah.
I think I'm just speaking from the place of how sometimes people who are just in relationship with each other, and there's nothing wrong with that, y'all. But then you start trying to dictate where we're going for the holidays.
I am of the opinion. I'm talking like you now. I am of the opinion that, therefore, nonetheless,
right.
I just believe that a conversation about holidays need to be had, period. And I say that because if we're in a relationship with each other, whether we've defined it or not, if we're a part of each other's life on more than a couple of days, I see you at least 3 or 4 days out the week, then I think that we are headed towards something serious. We just may not have defined it.
Right.
Or we may not have had the conversation to say this is what it is.
Okay. Basically what you're saying is don't bring your cup buddy around.
Don't make the assumption that the person you are in this relationship with doesn't want to spend the holiday with you, or does not want to spend the holiday with you.
Yeah.
And I just feel like communication is important regardless of the status of your relationship. Whether y'all just, we see each other once a month, or whether y'all, just make sure that time that we see each other in November is not around Thanksgiving if you don't want to spend Thanksgiving with me.
That's true.
So I'm just saying communicate
Yeah.
the expectation of holidays, because holidays are important to certain people. Like, they're important to us.
Right.
And when you and I got together, I had to make a decision on how to, be a part of your tradition and how to include you into ours. Because it wasn't just me on holidays.
Right.
It was me and my babies.
Right. That's true. And I think,
you wouldn't have known that had I not communicated that to you. But that was before we even defined what we were.
Right.
That's my point. Yeah. Before we even said, we're going to be together and our relationship is going to advance to something more, we talked about the holidays.
Yeah.
Because the holidays are important to us.
Right.
So the conversation needs to be had regardless if you define what the relationship is. But for our single people, that's what we need y'all to embrace your singleness and communicate how going home for the holidays make you feel. Especially if you're going to, if you've moved to a different state and you're going back to a state to where there's that ex is there. The one that you had a hard time getting away from, like, communicate what that experience is like for you so that the holidays don't become a horror day.
Thanks. Well, so how do you think, I think, just talking about you and I think we did pretty good once we, were in a relationship and began to just be around each other's families. I think we did well with balancing out the holidays, and I don't think I don't remember any kind of confusion or disagreements or arguments or anything like that. I just think that we kind of I think we both just kind of looked at how each family did the holidays,
the dynamics behind,
and I think a lot of times, and here goes again, that's why communication is so important. I think it's only right for you as a husband or as a wife to explain why this particular holiday is so important, like the reason why. Yeah. And if Christmas is just as strongly as important to both of you all in terms of why you want to be around your family, it's a conversation to be had, because this whole thing about, well, that's where I'm going to be, that's where I'm always going to be at, and that's going to be it, without no conversation, where you setting yourself up, depending on who it is, you setting yourself up for a disagreement, an argument.
Yeah.
When all you got to do is have a conversation.
Yeah.
Because what we noticed that we really, before we moved to Missouri, we spreaded the summer holidays out. Yeah, we spread it out. We but then when it came to Thanksgiving and Christmas, well, Christmas,
of course, that was for the kids.
That was for the kids. Yeah. But then with your immediate family, with your siblings, and then with your parents, it's like, well, everybody comes to me. Mm-hmm. I'm used to everybody coming to me. Mm-hmm. So therefore, I'm not coming in to change that, because the dynamics are different. And for me, the dynamics were, at this point, Mama tell you, if I'm gonna cook on Christmas, I'm gonna cook. If I don't, I'm going somewhere else. So y'all gonna figure that out. Mm-hmm. But they made that transition to, well, if y'all are doing that on Christmas Day, y'all just come over here on Christmas Eve.
Because so it was a good balance, right? But we all know that sometimes that don't happen. And let's use Thanksgiving, because now we've experienced Thanksgiving.
Right.
Did you have a great Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Let me tell you something.
No.
They got on down.
So,
Helena.
I'm from Helena, Arkansas, y'all. So we went to see my mom and family.
Right.
So yeah. But anyway, not to talk about that. With Thanksgiving
Mhm.
for us, I would always go to where my mom was
Mhm.
for Thanksgiving. With the kids, we would always go spend time on Thanksgiving. My mom would cook everything, and we spend that time there.
Mhm.
So I appreciate how, because I know Thanksgiving is your favorite holiday,
Mhm.
I appreciate how you allowed, that tradition to be ongoing.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of pushback. But I'm not naive to, there are certain situations where people literally fight about going, like, especially if you're engaged. Like, if you're engaged, then y'all need to have a conversation, make a decision on where holidays will be spent.
Mhm.
But if you're married and you're still trying to figure that out,
Yeah.
where these holidays are going to be spent, then that's just too much conflict during a time of joy
Right.
and being thankful. Thanksgiving is a time for us to be thankful and grateful for the things that God has blessed us with.
Mhm.
But a lot of people can't enjoy it because of conflict that
Yeah.
arises, especially in marriages where, well, I want to go see my mama.
Right.
Well, my mama lived like 5 or 6 hours away,
Mhm.
and I want to go see her.
Right.
So it's like the whole concept of the holiday is lost in the bickering of who we gonna go see.
Right. When it
can be easily resolved by us having a conversation and saying, "Hey, I really enjoy seeing my mama."
Mhm.
On Thanksgiving, how can we make it where you get a piece of what you want and I get a piece of what I want?
And I think that if you are in that space right now, this is just talking to everybody that's listening. If you're in that space right now, then we're saying it is worth a conversation.
Absolutely.
It's worth a conversation because it could easily be if I know that if this year we did Thanksgiving with your parents, but then if I know that next year I want us to do Thanksgiving with my side of the family, this conversation needs to be had. Don't need to start happening in the middle of November.
It didn't need to happen the week of.
Yeah, this conversation needs to have a few months before.
Yeah, because preparation.
So preparation, and then also the reason why it needs to happen so that we can make adjustments to be around our family more.
Yeah.
So that when my side of the family more, because we know that during this time we're gonna be with your side of the family. But now what's crazy is now some couples are having these arguments and they both of their sets parents live in the same city. That's easy. Just go lunch,
dinner.
Just you just going across town. This is that.
Or there's more than one holiday in the year.
Yes.
Compromise.
Yes. Now for us, because traditions change, and then when you get married, you then look to begin your own traditions,
right,
with your family. Like we have friends who are married, and the city and state that they stay in, they have no family there. So for the holidays, they spend that Christmas sometimes or that New Year's with just them. So for us, for Christmas, it's like we just, the kids come. Now, of course, if our parents want to come, we don't be like, oh, y'all can come.
Yeah.
But we just make sure, we just make, well, we don't make sure because they know that it's a tradition of ours that the kids are coming home.
Yeah.
Point blank.
Yeah.
But people are not having these conversations.
No. And even though now, like my boys are single, our boys are single. Haley is single, so we don't have to deal with them having to make a decision with spending the holiday with us.
Yes.
Or spending the holiday with, whoever their significant other is, family. So right now, that's not a situation. But I would never interfere as a parent and say, well, this is a tradition of ours. And that y'all supposed to come see us every Christmas.
That's the thing right there.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, try to make the decision for you. or guilt trip you into spending the holiday with me.
Right.
You know, I ain't gonna be around much longer. You only got one mama.
Right. Trust me, if they your children should know if you're not gonna be around much
Don't
long.
guilt trip.
Right. That's an easy conversation for us to have and be like, of course we know, Mom. We
like, don't do that.
Right.
But what I said all that to say, you know, respect the choices that people make during the holidays to do with their own family.
Yeah.
And if my daughter says, Mom, I want to start a new tradition for my family, I don't want to come to where you are for Thanksgiving. And if you're able to travel, I want to host something at my house. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to say, oh, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I want to compromise with her because she's been compromising with me by spending her time with me.
Yes, that's true.
For the holidays. So that's how a relationship works. We give and we receive. Right. We don't just receive.
Right.
So, yeah. So for engaged people, like, have that conversation now, because honestly, it could come up when y'all decide to have kids or when y'all decide to, make plans for the holidays.
Right. Right.
So, yeah.
Just, I mean, y'all, we just can't get away from it. Clear communication.
Y'all, like, serious.
We cannot get away from it.
Going home for the holidays is supposed to be an exciting thing. Like, I'm excited to see my mama. I'm excited to eat because my mama can cook.
Right.
So I'm excited to go home for that reason.
Right.
I don't want to go begrudgingly. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go home like, oh Lord, I gotta go down here to hell. Right. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do stuff just because it's a tradition. I want to actually enjoy doing what I'm deciding to do.
Right. And I think that a lot of people should really look to really have that particular mindset. Don't do it out of obligation.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Don't
feel obligated.
Right.
Do it because you want to do it. Because when you do things that you want to do, you're more present.
Right.
And the experience is so much better.
Right. Right. And then, y'all, it's family too. You know, the holidays are time for family. And a lot of times on Thanksgiving, you get that chance to see, your aunts, your uncles that you hadn't seen in a long time, your cousins you hadn't really connected with, because everybody has their own families and just the whole 9 yards. So you don't want you like you said, baby, you don't want to go begrudgingly like, you don't want I do this that
right, because then you're gonna be thinking about what time you leaving. Right. And not be
before
present
you even get
in
there.
The moment of enjoying your family. So So have that conversation. Going home for the holidays can be a great experience. Get you some act right and have that conversation. Talk about how going for the holidays make you feel.
Right. And
deal with the triggers and the emotions that could put you in a state of mind that's not healthy.
Right, absolutely. So thank y'all for a great conversation today.
Thank y'all for listening.
Yeah, but make sure y'all tune in next week because listen, next week we're gonna be dealing with blended holidays, and I think this is
blended families.
Yeah, in terms of I meant to say that blended holidays. Yeah, but just dealing with blended families because a lot of people, who's gonna get the key?
We've never told y'all what we was gonna be talking about on the next episode. Ek is real excited
I'm excited. I'm sorry. I finally got ahead of myself.
Now, if the next episode we switch it up on y'all, don't be mad. Just go with the flow.
No, I mean, if I need to be reprimanded, reprimand me. But
reprimand.
But we are excited about that conversation.
We are excited because we know a lot about it.
Yes. Yeah. So.
We know a lot about it.
Until next time, make sure y'all follow
us, subscribe to the channel. Take care of yourselves. Love each other. Hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving. I hope y'all are excited about what Christmas is going to bring. And we are excited to continue this conversation.
And make sure, don't let this Black Friday weekend, all this stuff, y'all.
We will never experience another Black Friday. Because they have not been great experiences.
No. We'll tell y'all about that under the financial. Man, see y'all next week, man.
Y'all have a great Saturday. Right. Bye.